Well, today I'm happy to welcome to the show Olen Thomas, one of our garden ambassadors. Olen, welcome back to Oklahoma Gardening.
Thank you, Kim.
I was wondering if you'd start by sharing with all our viewers how long you've been involved with the ambassador program here.
Well, the ambassador program was begun in 1993, and I was one of the original members.
Excellent. So you're one of our veterans.
Yes, indeed.
What's been one of the most rewarding parts of volunteering here at the studio?
Well, we originally signed up because we thought we could really learn a lot and we could get a great education, and that was how it started. And then, of course, over the years, the rewards come by meeting all the other ambassadors and getting to work with them and finding out more about them and their garden.
And passing on probably some of your own education
I hope
to
so.
them.
I hope so.
Well, when we started designing our Native Splendor garden, we thought of you because we knew you had an interest in native plants. Tell me a bit about how that interest developed for you.
Well, it's a little hard to nail down, but as we were talking earlier, many of these plants I recognize from my childhood, and I've always had an interest in that kind of roadside beauty. And then as the years rolled by, I found out there was an organization that was actually interested in that. So I took note and joined. That's called the Oklahoma Native Plant Society. So they've taught me a lot, and I've tried to help them out a bit too, and try to pass some of that along.
So I imagine a lot of these plants are in your own garden at home.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Well, Olen, I know that Oklahoma has such a diverse assemblage of native plants, and those in the southeast are much different from those in the west. Did you focus on any particular region when you were designing the garden?
No, I didn't, because our show is broadcast statewide, and we do, as you mentioned, have a very diverse palette. So I tried to select plants that would work in this particular area, no matter what part of the state they came from, and I think it worked out pretty well.
Well, it certainly is looking beautiful. I really like this bed because it has some structure already to it, the bridge and the dry creek bed. How did this particular site influence your designs as you were working through it?
Well, it's not a new site, of course, and one of the characteristics of native plants is many of them don't like enriched soil, and this garden has been under cultivation for many years over the course of the show. So in selecting the plants, I had to find natives that would tolerate enriched soil, and some won't, of course.
Yes.
And we've got an example of that here. This Penstemon murrayinus is falling over.
Yeah.
If that were in a more suitable site, not such an enriched soil, that would be standing straight up and looking really nice.
Okay, so a little too much nitrogen here for it.
Right.
Excellent. I notice also you've made really good use of the bridge for structure. We have some wonderful native vines.
Yeah, as you mentioned, we have this structure here to work with already, so it was just natural to plant these native vines on here. In the center, of course, we have the native honeysuckle, Lonicera sempervirens, and that's such a great plant and a hummingbird plant and a great substitute. You know, our countryside is being taken over by the oriental honeysuckles that are just really aggressive.
Yeah.
And that one is very subdued and will not get out of hand and take over.
That's one of the nice things about using some of our natives. They're some comparatively less aggressive than some of their foreign counterparts.
Yeah.
Well, I've noticed a few of these plants along the roadsides lately. I thought we could take a closer look. And one of those is the Rayless Gaillardia here.
Yeah, that's kind of unusual because it only has the, it doesn't have the ray florets. And that's a cousin to our state wildflower, Gaillardia pulchella, which is an annual. This is a perennial, and it's kind of unusual.
Yeah.
I suppose it takes a certain person to appreciate a flower without petals, but
it's interesting in its own right.
Yeah, I think so.
Of course, next to it you have the showy combination here of your milkweed and penstemons.
Yeah, these are actually kind of different plants. It shows what you can do by kind of getting close to the climate that each plant will use. Like butterfly weed will grow in the toughest, driest roadside you can find. This is Penstemon tubiflorus, not so tough. But put them together in this bed and give them a modicum of care, and they will both tolerate each other and the conditions. Then they look, that's a pretty stunning combination.
It absolutely is, yes. I know you have a lot of grasses in here too. We have such wonderful native grasses in Oklahoma to work with.
This is such a small bed, I had to be really choosy in selecting them. So this one down here is blue lovegrass, very unusual. You can see it's on the cool season side, that's why it's already heading out. And by July 4th, these seed heads will be all mature and browned out, but that beautiful blue foliage will still remain and it will look great. Down here, a warm season grass. You can see the difference. It's much slower to take off.
Yeah.
This is a little blue stem, a nice cultivar called the Blues, and by the fall this will be 4 foot tall and looking splendid with those silvery seed heads on it. And this is switchgrass here, one called Cloud 9. This is one of my favorites.
It's a beautiful plant.
It's got that blue-green tint that I love, and it's got a natural vase shape. This will not flop in your garden. It stands up nicely. In the fall, it's just covered with the cloud of seed heads, and in addition to that, late fall, the whole thing turns golden yellow. So you get really striking structure in the garden going into wintertime.
It's a year-round beauty.
Yeah.
There's another plant hidden down here behind the grass that we've all been paying so much attention to lately, this Indian pink. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, that's a native called Spigelia marylandica, and it's really one of our favorites. You can see the striking dark red color with the little yellow florets right on top.
It's a great contrast,
and it really sets it off because it's got this dark green foliage that's always pest-free. We've had this in our garden for many years, and it's just never bothered by anything, and I can't explain why, but that red and green just really pushes my buttons.
It's a beautiful plant. And you said this is kind of a difficult plant to find, so something to hunt for.
The people who do this sort of thing tell me it's hard to reproduce, so it's not real common in commerce, but if you do an internet search, you'll find somebody selling it.
Okay. Well, before I let you go, I wanted to point out the colorful sticks that you included in the garden.
Yeah, that's sort of a whimsy. When we first planted the garden, of course, all these plants are very small. We're just starting out. So it's little pots and a lot of mulch. So to add some color, some interest, something to look at, I made these sticks. I call them Gaillardia sticks.
Oh, because
they have that green, red, and yellow color. And it's just sumac that have died. I have access out in the woods or the pasture. They're somewhat short-lived, but those, after they die, they persist out there for many years. Sometimes I use them in the garden unpainted, just as a natural structure, like that size right there would go in a very large pot, and you can grow a vine on it, or just add interest, because I like that. It's really silvery gray and beautiful. So to add a little interest in the native plant garden and make the Gaillardia sticks, I just spray painted blocks of color and tied them up here to give us something to look at.
Well, you've certainly put together a striking garden. It's really lovely, and every week there's something new. I can't wait to keep visiting throughout the year and see what's blooming.
Isn't it exciting?
It sure is. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Kim.